Presiding Officer. I would begin by saying to the member of the Green Party, who spent most of her speech attacking the Labour Party for this, that the comparison being made here between HPMAs and the clearances is not from the mouths of the Labour Party. It's directly from the mouths of the community. It's in the name of the title of the song which is quoted in the motion tonight, written by an islander, written and listened to by people across the Highlands and Islands, as been testified to by other members across the chamber tonight. And it is that member and this government who are refusing to listen. And I would say that it is right to highlight the role of protest song at this point in time. Because when rights are lost and when community is threatened and when hearts do yearn for justice for their communities, they call to our common humanity in song and in poetry. They ask us to listen to them. And I've heard the words of families, of fathers and mothers in these communities saying they see no future for their children. If the member wants to listen to them, then she would do well to hear them properly and to revisit these proposals. Because the work of Donald Francis McNeill and Skipponish does call to mind, I think directly, the poetry of the clearances and land agitation of the early 19th century that was first collected by Donald Meek. And Tua is Tierna, the name of his collection. That means tenants and landlords. And in this situation, people know who the tenants are and they know who the landlords are. And that's how these people feel they are being treated, that the land is not their own, that the seas are not their own. They're being granted permission to be there rather than owning and living in their own communities. No, thank you, sir. And the landlords are as they ever were. The elite of Edinburgh, telling these people exactly how to live their lives and what they should do. Because the current debate over HPMAs, frankly, is just the latest example in a litany of policies. Certainly, sir.
Jim Fairley.
I'd like to thank Michael Marra for taking the intervention. Would Michael and the Labour Party not accept the fact that we are only at consultation stage and that the point is that the Minister is going to go round the country and speak to those self-same communities?
Michael Marra.
The member would do well to listen to all of these communities right now. And the member sitting next to him has highlighted that very well, the unanimous voice that's around there. And I'm sure that the Minister will, as she tours the country, hear this loud and clear in the coming months. We know already that to have an axe hanging over the necks of these communities, every coastal community, is a very poor way to develop policy, and it is receiving the reaction that you would expect. But when we think about the ferries that don't sail, the breakdown of crofting regulation, delays in extending broadband provision, housing policies that are pushing families out of villages, and the tokenistic commitment to the Gaelic language, this government's myopic focus on the Central Belt policies have served our island and coastal communities poorly for 16 years. It has betrayed them. And listening earlier today to the statement from this government regarding the ferries, the people listening in these communities would be appalled. The temerity of the Cabinet Secretary attempting to make a virtue out of the ferry disaster that has happened. I feel the tone of that speaks to the very problem that we see in front of us today. So we do need to maintain and build sustainable communities in the Highlands and Islands. And this can only be done by growing these economies, creating more jobs, giving people reasons to stay with their families or to move to the Highlands and the Islands. So success for this song, this protest song, will not be measured, Presiding Officer. This cry for justice will not be measured on iTunes or Spotify. It can only be measured as to whether this Cabinet Secretary, our Minister and this Cabinet actually listen to it, hear it and change their own tune.
Thank you, Mr.